Welcome into the Capital PTBO podcast, broadcasting live on Facebook, Twitter, and of course YouTube. You can come check us out on George Street, as well as the capitalptbo.ca. Jordan Mercier here, alongside Mark Million. You have to excuse the dapper attire. I was coming from the MLB owners meetings as they were voting, and I had to cover that, give my 2 cents on some of the changes, Mark.
Did they ask you, come to the floor, Mercier?
They asked my opinion.
Well, as they would.
A couple of things. And
as a former nearly pro ball player?
As a member of the 2001 OBA championship team in Whitby, what do you think about certain things?
Yeah, what do you think about certain rule changes we're trying to implement here?
We're going to talk a lot about baseball coming up on today. How are you doing? You doing good?
Oh, I'm so happy for baseball.
Are you?
Oh, my God.
Okay.
You know what, though? I'm so sad for this. The snow.
Like how it's March 11th and it's literally 5 to 10 centimeters.
Honestly, like I know that we're probably privileged being in Ontario.
Yeah.
Because in Alberta or other places on Earth, like down on the East Coast, maybe they're getting 50 centimeters.
Yeah.
But there's like a threshold. Once you get by, like once you get into the March break week for the kids, that's it. You're wasting time now snowing. Well, you're legit wasting time.
Once you had last weekend where it was 12, 13, no jacket, feeling good, out there hacking up ice.
Next weekend, it's going to be the same.
So that's what I keep telling myself is like, look, I don't need to shovel this because it is going to melt this time.
Yeah.
It's going to work for me. But it feels like we should be talking about baseball because there was major news that came out. Yes, Major League Baseball and its Players Association have salvaged the season. And we'll get into some fun scenarios with World Series odds coming up. But just on the whole, you're obviously excited to have the sport back. There's a couple of notable changes that will be coming into effect. Some of it reverting back to tradition, and some of it's, like we discussed last week, being the universal DH. I won't go off on another tangent, but I was, again, disappointed to see that in there. But ultimately, what do you think?
I think salvage was the right word. I don't think Manfred has... I don't think he delivers... any hate when he stands at the front of the room and he says, and we're going to play 162 games.
Yeah.
And we're going back to 9-inning doubleheaders. And we're getting rid of the extra base rule.
Yes.
Or the extra innings second base
Man
rule.
on second, yep.
I don't think he could have possibly lost the room or anybody in it or anybody that watched it at home. So, my Jazz, 100%. Terrific. Jays will go off on the 8th, I think. It's good. It's good. Like, let's go. Honestly.
A lot of the dramatic stuff we had talked about, it sounds like it will come in, but it's going to be put off a year.
Right.
So we talked about the bigger bases.
Yeah.
And we talked about some of the other things that were going to end up coming in.
I like how they deferred it. They tabled it.
Yeah, it's like there, but it's being put off. Can we litigate the man on second in extra innings even just a little bit?
Sure.
I don't like it. I'm a traditionalist, hence why I didn't like the universal DH. But watching the game, it actually wasn't as bad or disruptive as I had thought.
In the traditional sense, can we do it maybe after the 12th inning? Understanding that, in getaway day scenarios or, you're in a 4-game homestand, it's the middle of August, that's taxing on a bullpen. And I can appreciate, again, the guys in the 70s did it. Well, I know.
Yeah.
But the guys in the 70s also threw 12 innings, So I like that scenario. Give me the 10th inning give me the 10th inning raw, give me the 11th, and then, okay, fine, we get to the 12th, okay, man on second base.
Right.
I don't mind that. I can get behind that.
I just remember watching it. Now it's fine. They go back to the way that it was, but I remember hating it so much and being like, "This is so gimmicky." It reminds me of being in Pee Wee tournaments, and that's the way they roll. And then I'd watch it, and I'd be like, you know what? It actually does create action immediately in extra innings, which is kind of good. So I was like, oh, okay, like it's gone, fine, that's cool. But I actually didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to.
It puts the pressure on right away.
Yeah,
right, like that, and from a strategic standpoint. Depending on where you sit in the lineup and who's on second base, you tap down a bunt for the squeeze at third. Now you got a guy on third with one out. But if you don't get the bunt across or whatever, the guy gets thrown out, whatever the case is. So I liked it. I don't like it permanent. I don't like it permanently. And I think, like I said, some of the other rule changes, I'm glad they've tabled this because it'll allow them to do it one at a time.
What about the doubleheaders? The 7-inning second part of the doubleheader.
I'm really surprised this has any traction in the market. You enjoyed watching the doubleheader 7 innings? No.
Created a lot of quirky scenarios when it came to wins and saves and what qualified, what didn't
Guys
qualify.
throwing no-hitters at 7 innings that didn't count? No. You give me that you had doubleheaders for not. The Jays don't even play a doubleheader.
No, and
so what does it matter?
Totally, and that's one of the parts that I totally agree with. I've always thought that they should actually build in some doubleheaders because then the season would actually wrap up before November.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like something that was going to affect every team unless you have a bunch of rainouts. But if you're a team that plays in a dome or whatever, I mean, you're really going to be marginally impacted by that. So I was happy that they went back to 9 innings. The expansion of the playoffs.
Yeah.
The expansion of the playoffs to 12 teams. Exciting for fans who are going to be involved.
Yeah.
Better for owners who might get more playoff home dates as a result. Ultimately, though, baseball was the last sport that I felt like making the playoffs like really meant something.
Yeah.
Like you could have a successful season if you just made the playoffs because there were only 4 teams that made the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right. The grind.
That one's hard.
It's the grind, right?
Cheapens the regular season a little bit.
100% it does because the winning of the division is paramount.
Yes.
It's the 162 game grind and whether or not you've got to be able to kind of average out those 8 game lulls where you've lost 7 of 8 or whatever it is, getting into July and August and being out or being in. It's good for it's obviously good for another 6 markets.
Yeah.
Right? Because essentially you had 6 set today, right? 3 division winners and a wild card to play in or whatever they've got now.
And you'll have less teams that are basically out of it by the middle of May, which is a problem.
Does it improve the quality of play?
Probably not.
So you have more teams that are at the trade deadline.
Right.
Maybe they're not sellers.
Mm-hmm.
If you're within striking distance of the wild card or however they're gonna. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna have the division winner, 3 division winners, and 9 wild cards or 6 wild cards.
A lot of wild cards.
And it's not even the right math.
First
9
and a
wild
second
cards. I don't know.
Producer Maddie, who's we're not going to tag in too much because I know he's not a big baseball guy, but it was in both of our lifetimes that just before Matt was born, where actually, remember, there was really only an ALCS and an NLCS.
Absolutely.
That was it. Like
1
2
postseason.
teams. Like 2 teams from each league made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, I think that was a much. Again, I understand the logic for it. I'm sure owners are very happy that they'll be playing more competitive games later into the season. That has been a problem. If you look at what Kansas City was for many years, if you look at Pittsburgh or even the Blue Jays, really, outside of the year 2000, after 93, I mean, there were a lot of meaningless Septembers that did not matter.
Years.
Yeah.
Toonie Tuesdays.
So that, I'm like, okay, I get it. But again, I think it does cheapen the quality. And we see it in all the other sports, too. The NFL now has more playoff teams than ever before. The NHL, I always thought, 16 of 30, 32 that would make it. The NBA is the same sort of way. So, but either way, I'm excited to have it back. April the 8th?
I think it's April the 7th for everybody, and then the Jays are the 8th.
Excited about that.
I'm into it.
I'm just excited to get back to the Rogers Center for a game.
Absolutely.
It's been a long time for us.
Please. I went last July. It was fun. Again, we
must have been capacity restrictions, was there?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
50? Yeah.
No, I think 15,000.
Oh, okay.
Nobody was rocking their mask either. That's a different story. We went and watched Red Sox game 1. What a mistake! We should have shout out Pat Isaac. We should have got tickets for both games. I don't know what we were thinking. Anyways,
it was a doubleheader.
Yeah.
And you guys just went to the first game?
Don't say you guys
or whatever.
Whoever bought the tickets. It wasn't me.
I'm buying number 1.
Yeah. We're buying just game number 1.
And
fellas.
going to the Loose Moose after and ripping her up.
No, so here's what really happened. We get outside the dome and it's 4:00. The next game starts at 7. Okay, 3 hours in between because I guess they're going to quote unquote spray the place down or whatever.
Yeah.
We had to walk 6 blocks to find something to drink. It's pouring rain.
Oh, God.
The worst. We ended up going to some lobster and crab place because it had no lineup outside and all we wanted was a couple beers.
Highfalutin.
We didn't
Mark
buy
Million.
lobster. No, nothing like that. But yeah, as much as the Rogers Center's a barn for me, let's get back to baseball for sure.
World Series odds. This is interesting.
This is surprising.
The top two probably won't shock you. Mm-hmm. So the LA Dodgers plus 650. Mm-hmm. The Houston Astros plus 900. The Yankees also plus 900. You don't have to look further down the list. Sixth place, the Toronto Blue Jays at plus 1100.
Some books have. I screenshotted it today. I couldn't believe it. Watching Sportsnet Central with I don't know who the two, Faisal and the other, the lady is. They didn't source where the odds came from. The Jays were 850.
Okay.
Thinking, what do you mean 850?
Mine was oddshark.com, so don't blame me. But that's where I went to. 850.
850 for
that's
a team.
Like among the favorites.
What do you mean? Yeah. Did they get a starter I didn't know about?
Pat Hinkin coming back?
Well, like
one more season?
Kevin Gausman, okay, great. Ryu, okay, great. Did they get a third baseman? Like, did Jose Ramirez show up? Fred Freeman going to play? Holy smokes, fellas. Like, the Jays are a great ball club, but 850, you could pass on that bet. They've got some work to do. Okay, give me the rest. You've got $1,000 here to spend.
Yeah.
$1,100.
I mean, I'm always a sucker at going, and it doesn't happen very often in baseball, a repeat champion. I think it's been a long time. Early 2000s Yankees? Is that the last time there was actually a repeat champion? But I saw the Braves at about plus 1,500, plus 1,600. I thought, there's question marks over some of the lineup choices, but anytime I can get a defending champ at that sort of level, I was interested.
Even with no Freeman?
Even with no Freeman. I think I'd be willing to at least take some of the money and put them on there. I mean, the Dodgers are going to be there. The Astros are going to be there.
Yeah.
Look at a team like the New York Mets. They're expecting for a good season.
And he spent a lot of money.
Yep.
Right? I think if I had $1,000, I said 1,100, but it didn't pan out that way. $1,200, and I would go $400 three ways. The Dodgers, of course, absolutely 100%. Haven't lost anybody in the lineup. Kershaw's long on the tooth, but he wasn't the best pitcher anyways for the Dodgers. He's their Joe Thornton regular season dude. He's not the postseason guy. I like the New York Mets. I think there's value there because if Houston loses Correa or Freeman, the Mets guy may just, I can't think of his name, Steve something rather. He may just jump in and grab one of these guys. The Mets always have a way, I know, of like colossally screwing it up come September. Somebody gets a foot injury or like David Cohn rides in the backseat of a taxi cab and separates a shoulder or whatever that was. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
With Cohn.
Coney.
The New York Mets, the pick at number 3. I've got to open it up here on my phone because I want to be sure the odds are correct. At 1,000, the New York Yankees, which I find to be, to me, I think they should be a little bit higher. Mm-hmm. They don't have the pitching, but the Yankees seem to me to be the type of team, they've kind of treaded water for a little bit. They haven't had much success in like a decade. They're going to be at some point, Steinbrenner or Cashman, whoever's there, Cashman's still there, but they're going to pull the trigger. The Yankees to me are one. What do you got Yankees at?
Yeah, I got them at plus 900.
900,
so we're around the same way.
Yeah, we'll take it there. So that's going to cash.
So you're going a little Dodgers, Mets, and Yankees.
The Mets is the outlier. I don't believe in the Padres. I really don't. Chicago White Sox, I know this is a young up-and-coming team. Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is, though. That's a trendy pick. Who do you got?
Well, I'd sort of laid out my case for the Braves. I think the Astros, as much as I hate them, really good ball team, top to bottom. They just are.
Yeah.
They're just really good top to bottom. And then I kind of look at, you're a fool not to be interested in the Dodgers. Yeah. I think talent-wise, top to bottom, they're probably the best team. Going to have the best record. Division's improved a little bit. Giants were better last time around. Padres were better last time around. A lot of times I would beat up on the Dodgers a little bit for saying that they were racking it up against some pretty bad teams.
Yeah.
Not the case anymore in the NL West.
The Devil Rays, no?
The Devil Rays.
So strange, right?
What
do you mean? What is that?
What
A
a
throwback?
name.
Oh, okay, the Rays.
throwback.
Devil Rays.
Rocco Baldelli.
Yeah. Give me some of that.
You know they're going to be competitive.
How can you not give any respect to a 100-win ball club?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the AL East, if you're going to give the Jays that much credit, and then you got the Yankees, you've got the Rays, you've got the Red Sox.
You'd be thankful you only have the Orioles.
That's right.
That Red Sox club, I'm not sure either.
Major League Baseball going to return. Toronto's first game is going to be on April the 8th. I cannot wait to get down there. Now, there is another Toronto sports team that is playing right now and doing well enough to sort of pique my interest, but then failing in certain aspects against Buffalo and laying duds against Arizona and winning games, but blowing a lot of leads, like 3-goal leads, third periods.
Oh, I thought you meant Toronto FC.
No.
Oh.
The Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh.
What's the temperature check on the Leafs right now?
Holy smokes. Where
Bruins now all of a sudden creeping in from the back.
You want a temperature check on this Leafs team? Where are you putting the thermometer? Holy smokes.
Right up Mrazek's ass.
Like somebody's. Holy smokes. How was that last night? Like,
baffled me.
That's a tough one.
That is a baffling game.
I've seen kids of the Northcrest make those saves. And the Northcrest, we just ripped it down. R.I.P.
He looks small. He looks like he has no clue where he is in the net.
Yeah.
Like half the time. He is so far out.
Yeah, last week. And then I watched last night's game, which I don't watch a lot of regular season, only because I really, it's not for me. But I watched the game last night. Yeah, positionally terrifying, and every goal was awful. Mm-hmm. Not one goal scorer's goal in the whole thing. And I know the guy that batted it in midair or whatever. Holy smokes!
Now that one had the separate script where the Leafs were actually to dig themselves out of a hole.
Yeah,
kind of got screwed a little bit in overtime too. Probably should have been a penalty. Austin Matthews.
That's a tough
obstruction.
I know. That's tough.
I actually like the fire from Matthews after the goal went in, too.
So do I.
He's just, I know, goaltender in New York, Shesterkin, I know he's doing some great things. His save percentage is probably going to be a record.
Yeah.
Austin Matthews, to me, though, has been far and away the best forward, most consistent forward. And when you go back even over the last number of years, the amount of goals he's scoring, the regularity, goals per game. I mean, we've talked about him maybe, I think talent-wise is the greatest Maple Leaf of all time. I think you could stop the argument right now.
I was just going to say the same. They get 44 goals. He's probably going to hit. If he hits 55,
yeah,
that's probably not unrealistic.
Which I think he's going to. Now, to me, I'm setting the sights at, does he get to 60, 61?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's got 6 weeks left.
Now, with him, you cross your fingers and say, okay, is there going to be a lingering injury that pops up, which has happened in the past? Let's hope it doesn't, because this is a guy really with any sort of modest luck. This would probably be like 50-goal season number 3 or 4 at this point. But it seems like he's always missed chunks of games or COVID shutdowns or whatever.
Last year I think his wrist was bothering him or something, getting the 1 goal in the 7-game series.
Justin wants to know if Matthews can win the Richard and the Selke.
I know there's a lot of people talking about the Selke stuff.
Yeah.
And he's definitely stepped up as a two-way player.
Absolutely, yeah.
That would be pretty hard to do. I'd be willing to bet that that's never, ever happened before.
Yeah, we were talking about it the other day to say that if it did happen, it would be like a Stan Mikita type.
Yeah.
1963, where you didn't have a guy that was, Mikita leads the league with 34 goals or something.
Yeah.
And he wins it. On the other side, just quickly as an aside with Matthews.
Sure.
What is happening? And this isn't just a Matthews thing. This is like, is there an NHL media verse or a skewed angle with the young players where it seems like we're like Steve Simmons goads Austin Matthews every night with a question that I'm not a media professional, so I think is stupid, but I'm a fan. Mm-hmm. So they immediately go to Austin. He's a 44-goal scorer. He's your number 1 horse in the barn. Austin, you're a little bit look like you're a little bit worked up with the ref there at the end of the game. What happened? Well, what do you think happened? Didn't you watch the tape? The guy put his hand on my stick as I'm going by, which obstruction. We have that as a penalty call.
Yeah.
Is this necessary? We have Jim Matheson crushing Edmonton Oilers on the daily press conferences in Edmonton. We have guys that are crushing. Why don't you give that call to Sheldon Keefe? Like, is it really that important to get the soundbite and get Austin? Because all the kids do, they just put their heads down and I don't know. I can't really say too much about it. I mean, you saw the game, this and that. It was important 2 points for our club, but
Right.
you're not going to get anything good out of that. If you are, you're going to get the exchange with the reporter. Like, well, what did you think? Is that really important?
I wouldn't ask those questions if I was in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened on that play? I mean, you could ask it in a way that it wouldn't have been quite as dickish,
Sure.
for sure.
I can.
And by the way, a lot of people beat up on Steve Simmons. I like Steve Simmons, and I read Steve Simmons a lot.
I can appreciate
But I
that.
understand that, and this isn't isolated with him, where he's had sort of seemingly one-on-ones with, and of course the Matthews stuff, right, goes back to was it the COVID vaccine or didn't have COVID,
right.
and then Matthews called him out like in a press conference. That comes with the territory.
I can appreciate Steve wanting to ask the hard questions, but that's uncomfortable as the TV viewer.
Yeah.
That's why I say as a fan, I don't like it. I don't want to be made to feel uncomfortable in my living room while I'm watching hockey or anything else for that matter.
Was Simmons the one that got into it with Kessel a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, he made up the story about him eating hot dogs pregame. Hey, come on, Steve.
And then he puts hot dogs in the Stanley Cup. Like, that's a great shot back.
Well, then Steve gets caught with Pavel Demitra.
Can I nitpick Phil Kessel for a minute?
Yeah.
The other night they play in Detroit.
Oh, don't. Come on. No.
I didn't like it.
No.
Oh,
no.
shut
I didn't like it.
No, we're not going to play this game then.
I thought it was hokey.
Cut this part.
I thought it was hokey. I'm sorry.
What part?
No, like
Hey, the kid's, it's his first kid.
that I get.
Okay.
But to go out and play one shift just to say you played and then
Oh, okay.
leave the lineup.
I understand, but go back and read the box scores on Cal Ripken. He didn't play all nine.
I know that. Hold on a minute. I do know that. I'm not saying this hasn't happened in other spots.
Sure.
But for some reason, it just reeked of gimmick. It was so gimmicky.
He's 7 games behind Doug Jarvis for the second longest
I
Ironman
know.
streak.
I get it. Like, I understand
I would have
that.
done it too.
Play the game or go to the berth. I didn't like the I'm going to go on
Or
and
do
play
both.
one game.
You can do both.
No.
Okay, I mean, we have modern science here. Could we not have taken care of that? He could have sat down with his lovely bride and said, okay, listen, realistically, we're only playing 82 this year. There's no chance we're getting to the postseason. So, look, if we rock here now in August, chances are it's end of April. And, into May, we can play the game.
Care about possibly getting a record because ultimately
Yeah.
this will be what his legacy's built on is the Ironman streak.
Is it?
I think probably.
I think both Ironmen are so far out of the narrative. Like
Nobody cares.
no, I don't think
Is that
anybody
right?
has
No.
anybody mentioned anything of Keith Yandel.
Well, here's the thing.
He had a big celebration when it happened.
When two people are challenging for records, it's almost like nobody is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? In a
yeah.
weird way, except for, okay, the Sosa McGuire. Like, I get that part of it. But in this instance, I think because both of them are passing Jarvis seemingly in the same season,
Yeah.
I think it loses a little.
Is it maybe because Doug too doesn't have the same?
Yeah, it's not. He's
It's
not, a hall.
You're
Like,
not Lou Gehrig,
no.
right?
He's not Lou Gehrig. He's not someone who'd be deemed as like a big pioneer of sorts.
Yeah.
Remember
Or-
Peterborough's own Steve Larmer, and he ended his streak because of a contract dispute,
Correct.
not even an injury or anything.
Yeah,
He's-
882 games. I think
yeah, he was
got.
principled enough to say no.
884, yeah.
884.
Okay, well, you know what? Light me up for that. I just thought, to me, it came off as too, like, I care about this stat a lot.
I'm with you on it. I understand that. He goes out, plays 30 seconds, and he doesn't even probably shower. Obviously, doesn't shower.
Actually, almost scored a goal in the shift, too.
Sure. Good on Arizona, though. For a franchise that's going to play in the Kinsmen, there's 3,000 people, and Bettman's all over them about, oh, you're doing so great. They chartered a private jet for him, flew him right in for the berth. Classy for an organization that I don't know if they've really ever been put in that scenario before. But I'm with you, but barely with you.
This is the same team that actually, was it last year or the year before, almost sat out Keith Yandel as a healthy scratch.
Yes.
And there was like a storm of like, what are you doing kind of thing.
Well, but Yandel, here's what the benefit of playing fantasy hockey is? You quickly get to find, I know plus minus isn't a thing anymore, but like Yandel's like a minus 35.
And
Like he's
just going
horrifying.
out there like a bag of bones.
Zdeno Chara, in the inverse, Zdeno Chara's partner is leading the team in defensive scoring for the Islanders. So who would you rather have?
Seriously. betting on your team and getting a full season. Calvin Ridley, it came out, he bet $1,500. And the NFL found out, and next thing you know, he is gone for an entire season.
That's $1,500 to lose $10 million.
Too much, not enough, just right.
This is hard.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Because it opens this area of you can't have your game, the integrity of your game compromised by people who are betting.
And I think that's the number one pillar that every league has to stand on.
And then you kind of look and say, all these leagues are so in bed with gambling now. Mm-hmm. Everyone is being encouraged to gamble. If you watch even, say, something as easy as TSN highlights, where they'll literally have puck line,
right,
point spreads, like all of this stuff.
Even
built
in the when the game is finished.
Yeah. So it's a weird area for me. I get what they have to do and they have to protect it, and you don't want it getting away, but I'm also not naive to think that people aren't betting all the time or betting through other people.
So, okay, the betting
like, hey, Johnny, why don't you put down $5 for me?
Yeah, no kidding. So that side of the coin, I think that could probably happen all the time. Does Calvin Ridley have a friend that plays in the NBA?
Probably.
Oh, of course they do.
Yeah.
Right? Like the amount of intermingling that these guys are doing and that sort of thing. I can appreciate that the athlete can't or shouldn't. Not in his own sport. He's away from the team. He's on, he's out for, I think it was like a mental illness kind of withdrawal type thing, injury. This is hard. $1,500 and I don't have a gambling problem. I'm not sure that that's the inference. That's his tweet, but I'm not sure that that's the inference they're making. I think it's more on the side of,
we can't have you in a game with money riding on it, even if it's going for you.
And even if it is not your immediate franchise that you're playing for. That's tough.
It is tough. And then I know the difficulty with the NFL is they'll always look ridiculous because then people are like, oh, what? Ray Rice literally got 2 games.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The irony on the NFL is always unbelievable when it comes to suspensions.
People literally have had vehicular manslaughter charges and have returned the same season.
Right. Yeah. Guys are going to the strip clubs with people with guns. A guy dies, he wins the Super Bowl. It's hard. But I think from the gambling standpoint, I think you just have to be on the absolutely not. You shouldn't you want to bet on other sports? Be my guest.
You should be allowed to bet on your own team. It's a motivator.
Think so?
Give me that, yeah.
That's Pete Rose's argument. Probably
it makes
all those
you play
years.
a little bit harder.
The $1,500. You want to cover that point spread?
Yeah.
I think there's enough money probably going on the table in the middle of the room every game. The boys are putting money down on who's going to score the first goal. That happens legit, and they pick up the
bounty
cash
gate
for sure.
Who's going to take out Kurt Warner this week?
Yeah, affect the head.
You're telling me if you're betting on your own team to cover the spread, you're not urging them to go for 2.
I don't because these guys are $1 million athletes, and what are we talking about? You're talking about that you're going to squeeze FanDuel for $2,200.
Oh, it's pennies on the dollar.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. And for what? You want that extra bonus? Why don't you work that in? Maybe they should have a per game contract. You want to bet with the owner? Let's do it. Okay, listen, Jim Rutherford. Tonight, the over-under on, according to FanDuel, the over-under on my performance tonight is 1.5, plays plus 230. I'll ride that for $10K.
Didn't Mike Bossy have something like that with goals in his rookie year? Or am I just reading some kind of urban myth?
I feel like that might be an urban myth. Actually gambling on his rookie season?
No, with the GM. He said the GM would pay him extra if he scored so many goals.
Oh, a laden incentive?
Yeah. Probably.
That's probably.
Yeah, the kid fired 53.
He did.
Yeah.
So that one was a major story this week. And again, I think what makes it on the surface a little bit more uncomfortable than it would have been 15 years ago is now just how mainstream gambling is. With every sport, in every league, with governments.
Right. The irony of the hand in hand now of the league and the teams and the offers of, said bets.
Remember back in the day, it was just like Jimmy the Greek on CBS.
Oh, yeah. I remember when we went to the UK back in, 2016, every street corner had a Ladbrokes or a
Yeah.
William Hill. And you could go right up to the betting window. Hi, I'll have £100 on £100 on Man United tonight. Sure. They would take a bet on who wore it best at the Oscars. It was beautiful.
Speaking of gambling, I know we're going to do some of it coming up in the next couple of weeks. March Madness. The first 2 days of March Madness, really the first 4, but particularly the first 2.
Yeah.
And I'm not counting the play-in games or whatever. I'm talking like the main meat
64.
of the action are my 2 most favorite days in sports on the sporting calendar.
Yeah.
I love it.
So exciting.
It's exciting. It's unpredictable. Yeah, I don't think the basketball quality is as good as it was 20 years ago. A lot of reasons for that. But I can't get enough of it when tip-off goes at 12:08.
Yeah.
And you're still watching games at 9:57.
Yeah.
Out in the West Coast. I love
It's
it.
the best.
Now the Capital PTBO is doing something cool, and we want you to be involved in it.
Yeah, we do.
Is we're trying to put together some ultimate bracket.
The ultimate bracket. It will never happen. Of course, the world has waited for the Capital PTBO to bring the $1 million perfect bracket challenge. But like a few things to be for sure. There's no one else in the country running one. Google it. Check out what TSN's prize is. ESPN, Yahoo. The Buffett is a different animal, right?
You consulted Warren on this.
The Oracle of Omaha. I gave him a call. Okay. $1 million. The odds are astronomical. The odds are astronomical that you're going to walk across the road tonight and win the Lotto Max.
Yep, but people do it every week.
If you don't play, you can't win. Mm-hmm. So $1 million, we'll give somebody $1 million for the perfect bracket. But then we thought, okay, that's out there. We'll give $100,000 to the guy who gets a perfect first round. $100K for the perfect opening round. And think about it like this. Okay, guys,
That's insane, and that does happen yearly.
Guys tell me that you have to win 32 games. It'll never happen. Okay, everybody's going to take the tops, all the firsts to win. So now you're down to 28 games. Everybody is going to take the seconds to win. Now you're down to 24. The chances of a 1 versus 16 or a 2 versus 15 going down, pretty slim.
Yes.
I think if you look over history, the 3v14s, I think there's been 8 losses. So you take all them. Now you're down to 20. Here's another tip, insider baseball. The most likely scenario is the 5 losing to the 12.
Yes.
That generally, every year there's 1, maybe 2 that happen. Now you've only got to win 20 in a row. I hope somebody does it and wins our 100 Gs. Because I'll tell you, here's the promo real quick. Somebody wins the 100 large, we're going to close the store. We're going to bring, there's a couple of guys, Brinks, that come next door for Money Mart. We're literally going to grab 10 stacks of hundreds. We're just going to lay them out. And then we'll have the guys like carry, like he'll take them out of the store type thing.
I love that.
It'll be 100 in cash. What would you do with an extra 100K?
I don't know, man.
I have found the odds on a perfect bracket if you want it.
I already know it. The odds on a perfect bracket are 1 in 9.4 quintillion.
Yeah.
And a quintillion is 1 billion billions.
Wow.
Yeah, so it goes million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion.
Now, but it is thought that the foremost bracketology experts can narrow that from 9.4 quintillion down to 128 billion.
Sizable jump.
Why don't you just watch the Sunday bracketology, take their bracket, and then jump in? It's free to play.
Can't wait for this. CapitalPTBO.ca. Are we doing this on Facebook? Where are we doing this?
No, you're gonna have to come into the store.
Oh, you get down here, 370 George
because
Street.
we don't want to leave it to chance where there's you can print it off. Sunday after the selections are made, you can go to tsn.ca, you can go to espn.com, you can hit Google and give me the 2022 men's bracket. We'll take the paper. We don't really care. But we want the paper here. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to post the papers across the back because I got to grade them. Just like your grade 6 math teacher. I'm going to pull out my red Laurentian pencil crayon and we're going to start going through the brackets. Bam, 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 bam. And I hope somebody wins. Take my money.
That would be fun. Can't wait. It's the Capital PTBO, the ultimate bracket, and we want to hear from you.
Sponsored by Why Drive Eats.
Why Drive Eats, which is like the newest, coolest delivery app that we have here in Peterborough.
And they're taking way less money than Uber and all this other. And this isn't like a paid promo.
No.
They're a good friend of the store, good friend of our family in terms of like helping out our family businesses. And yeah, they ponied up all the dough for the first place, second place, third place. It's beautiful.
Category for the Flashback Friday quiz this week.
Yes.
Matt, you were sweating. You thought because of all the baseball chatter that we were going to do a baseball-specific one.
Hold on. Were we doing away with the 30-second intro?
No.
Do you want it?
I'll throw it to you.
Yes.
All right,
One second.
let me know when.
Hold on.
You got me sweating.
I'm teasing, buddy. So you thought because it was going to be baseball, you were out of luck. I decided to do a pivot because I knew that Matt quite couldn't have the baseball stuff.
Yeah.
So I went with fun sports records. That is the category. Now you can hit it, Matt.
They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Can you believe it?
Two strikes, ball one. Here comes the pitch. Strike three. A no-hitter, a perfect game for John Larson. Anderson made a wild stab towards the bell. Here's another shot. Right by the floor. And he's done it. And scores the Cadillac. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
We're seeing what this guy is really made of. What he is. The greatest professional athlete in the world today. Look at this. He's I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either, Jesse the Body Ventura. From WrestleMania 3, 1987 at the Pontiac Silverdome. 93,000 fans at the time. It was an indoor attendance record. Most people believe it was closer to 76,000, but, you know, WWF has a way of inflating it a little bit.
Amplifying the stats.
That would be a fun sports record that I would classify. That is the category, fun sports record. Let's start with, let's start with a baseball one, actually, Matt.
Hold on a minute.
Wait, Latour.
We avoid baseball trivia.
Remember
I got one in here.
Remember we talked about the temperature, you know, the thermometer for the Leafs?
Yes.
How are you feeling? What's your temperature out here now?
Great until I figure out 1 out of 5 questions is baseball.
Okay, so
I'm feeling about 70% on this.
70%.
I know a lot of weird stats.
Fun sports records. Joe DiMaggio, the Yankee Clipper. His 56-game hitting streak has never been seriously challenged since being set way back in the year of our Lord, 1941. Who, since then, has come the closest? Bonus points for the amount of games.
Matt Latour?
Edwin Encarnacion,
With how many games?
32.
Bum, 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 bum.
No.
I just remember he had a long hitting streak.
Joe DiMaggio at 56. The beautiful part is DiMaggio goes 0 for 4 the next game. Al Dowling is the pitcher, 57. He then hits consecutively in 22 more to tie what? His Pacific Coast League record.
Yeah, he had already done this in the minors,
He had
right?
done 77, 78 straight. 44 is the next.
Yes.
Pete Rose.
Yes.
Wow. Edwin had 26, by the way. I looked it up.
26. That's
Kind
a
of
good
old
one.
Pete Rose, too,
It
1978.
is. Yeah, it is. It's later.
Vintage.
It's vintage Pete. Yeah.
I don't know if we could trust Pete Rose.
Easy now.
I always thought that Ichiro would have a long hitting streak. Not 56, but I thought he'd get close. Because the guy who's going to do it, I always felt like somewhere along the way, he's got to beat out a couple of infield hits.
Yeah.
You know? Going to dunk a ball here and going to beat it out.
There's, I think, at 44, there's also Pee Wee Reese is in here.
Wee Willie Keeler.
Wee Willie
was the
Keeler.
original 44, man.
Yeah. Paul Molitor's in there at 39.
Paul Molitor had a long one.
Yeah. So
George Sisler. Yeah.
George Sisler. Yeah. Sisler's 256. Yeah. You would expect the guy that gets 200. What did he finish at? 262 that year?
262, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. I'm going to say 2-0 because I'll give you that bonus point. This legendary golfer once won 11 consecutive PGA events. This legendary golfer once won 11 straight PGA events. If you could even win 6 or 7 in a season, in an entire season, not even consecutively.
That's a Hall of Fame. That's a career for guys. That's what Tiger used to do.
Yeah.
Latour.
How many old school golfers?
I know some old school ones.
Old Tom Morris,
Yeah.
young Tom Morris.
What's the one that Will Smith played?
Ben Hogan.
It is not Ben Hogan.
They-
Bagger Vance.
The
Is that what
Bagger
you're
Vance,
talking
yeah.
about?
Not real. And same with Chubbs Peterson. Not real.
But in that movie, remember they had Bobby Jones and they had
Absolutely.
Walter Hagen,
Yeah, Walter Hagen.
who were both real.
The correct answer is Byron Nelson.
It is Byron Nelson, Lord Byron Nelson.
Yeah, they named the Byron Nelson Classic.
Tiger did get 7 in a
Tiger
row.
got 7, and that is unbelievable.
Ben Hogan got 6.
Did he?
Yeah.
Nice. Hoagie. All right, let's have some fun with this one. Fun sports records. Most consecutive team losses in NFL history with 26. Bonus, give me the years.
Ooh.
Imagine a team losing 26 consecutive games.
In what? Sorry, which league?
NFL.
It's got to be the Cleveland Browns. In 17-18?
No. They came close.
They did come close.
Yeah, they had an 0-16 and a 1-15.
Yeah.
So they must have scraped by somewhere in there. Because I feel like at 26, I think this is. I want to. I know that, and I'm with Latour too on the modern day, like the Detroit Lions running the reverse. But I believe this is Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
It is.
and I think it's like
This could be the first, like, undefeated,
Yeah, this is not going
unchallenged.
well.
it's like 74-75 or 75-76.
76-77. Good stuff, though. The Creamsicle Buccaneers,
The Creamsicle
which, by the way,
Bucks.
they're bringing back this year.
I know, and I've got the hats to show it off. I love it.
All right, Matt, let's do some basketball. You ready?
Oh, God. Okay.
But not even NBA, NCAA.
Oh.
NCAA college career record of 44.2 points per game and a total of 3,667 points.
Boy, oh
Imagine
boy.
averaging that. I think it's over 3 seasons. 44.2 overall.
This could be a couple of dudes. I'm going to throw a hint for Latour. Just give me the yes or no.
You think you're good?
No, I don't think I'm good. I just think that maybe it'll
You're
help
John
our man
Carpenter,
out
and this
here.
is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
And you're going for the 1 million.
I'm going to call my dad. I didn't really need a hand, actually. I want to let you know I'm going to win.
All-time flex.
Did he? That was the all-time flex on Rage. Did this guy later play for the Utah Jazz?
Yes.
Go ahead, Matthew.
Pete Maravich?
Pete Maravich, the kid.
Pistol Pete Maravich.
Shane Sayer for the win.
There's nobody's guessed anything yet. I
Pistol
got that one.
Pete
Too tricky.
Maravich.
LSU,
Yes.
Louisiana State University.
He was a monster.
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, I'm not getting swept.
That's true.
You're welcome. What? Don't sweep me nothing. If I had said was he a former LA Laker, and you would have said no, and you would have rambled like Kurt Rambis or something.
Could be wrong, but Pete Maravich, he used to do kind of the granny style free throws too.
He did. Yeah, he did.
And he was
Absolutely.
like an 89% free throw shooter. Last but not least here, we're going to deviate a little bit from the script.
Yeah.
Give me all the NHL players who have done 50 goals in 50 games.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Give me all of them.
Maurice Richard.
Now, yes. Now, I should say, little caveat here.
Mm-hmm.
There have been some players who have done it individually in a season, but because their team had played more than 50 games, it's sort of counted as an unofficial.
Yeah, like
Cam Neely.
50 and 42.
Yari Curry. Lemieux a couple of times.
Yeah.
I want the official on the books. 50 and 50. Yes, Maurice Richard, 44-45.
Okay, my turn. I'll take Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne did it 3 different times, including a record 50 goals in 39 games.
Lemieux?
Mario Lemieux. Surprised that he did it once, but when you factor in his injuries,
Yeah.
he missed a lot of time. And he did have 2 unofficial ones. So really, he would have had 3.
There are 6 official, correct?
Yes.
I'll take Michael Bossy.
Yes. That's the next guy after Rocket.
Brett Hall?
Brett. Did do it.
Shooting and smiling. Mm-hmm. The last on the list to go 50-50 officially.
Is that it? I feel like that was it. Maybe I miscounted.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Matt, can you bring that up? I apologize. I think that might be it.
Maurice, Wayne, Mario, Mike,
And Brett.
NHL players 50 and 50. What did Solani score his 50 in his rookie year?
No, yeah, so 76, but I think he did it like 50 and 58 or something.
Maurice, Mike Bossy, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Brett Hull. Yep.
That's it. You guys did good on that one.
I won that one.
You only won because I let you start first.
Another 3-0 lead.
I let you start first. I gave you the
You've got
Utah
Peter Mrazek
Jazz.
in net, buddy.
2 weeks in a row. You've blown a 3-0 lead. Only win 3-2.
I think the point that should be made is that I get out to a 3-0 lead and then I put my feet up.
Coast a little bit.
Lay back.
Alexander McGillney as well, 50 and
An
46.
unofficial, yeah.
Yeah, he does have an unofficial. That's hard. I remember being so sour with Cam Neely's not getting in.
50 and 44. And that was like it for him.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he barely plays after that.
Oh, yeah. Samuelson ruined him.
Yeah. That was fun. That
Hurt
was a
his
good
knees.
category. I like that one. We could revisit that category a bit later. Mark, this has been fun, as per usual.
The pleasure's been mine.
Join us each and every Friday right here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and you can visit us anytime at the Capital PTBO.ca. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend. For Mark Million and Matt Latour, I'm Jordan Mercier. This has been the Capital PTBO, the podcast.